for listening to me. I think demonstrating is a right in a democracy, and it is important also to be able to exchange and to listen to each other. I wanted to thank Mr. Johnson, who was here today, for the exchange that we had. For me, it was important to listen to Prime Minister Johnson, to listen to concrete proposals to avoid a non-deal Brexit. For Luxembourg, our positions in regards to a deal has always been very clear. The first priority in any withdrawal agreement or declaration on the future relationship is the preservation of the single market. Second, we need a deal that protects the Good Friday Agreement and avoids a hard border on the Irish island at all costs. The only solution that is currently on the table that meets all these criteria is the withdrawal agreement that we agreed on in November last year with the negotiator Michel Barnier, and who's got support by all the 27 members and also by the European Parliament. I know that the UK government is unhappy with the withdrawal agreement as it stands. That's why I thought that it was important to speak to Prime Minister Johnson to get proposals. We need more than just words. We need a legally operable text to work on as soon as possible if we want to meet the October deadline. I have never minced my words when asked about another extension. So let me be very clear once again. An extension is only an option if it serves a purpose. We will not grant another extension just for the sake of granting another extension. Historically, the UK has always been an important ally and a strategic partner of my country, but most importantly, a close friend. The ties that link our people are strong, and that won't change with the Brexit. But our people need to know what is going to happen to them in 6 weeks' time. They need clarity, they need certainty, and they need stability. You can't hold a future hostage for party political gains. So now it's on Mr. Johnson. He holds the future of all UK citizens and every EU citizen living in the UK in his hands. It's his responsibility. Your people, our people, count on you. But the clock is ticking. Use your time wisely. Thank you. Yes?
Prime Minister Bettel, did you receive anything today from Mr. Johnson that you would characterise as a new proposal, and do you recognise his description so far that there has been great progress made?
For me, I just have one withdrawal agreement on the table, and it's the one from last year. There are no changes. There are no concrete proposals for the moment on the table. And I won't give an agreement to ideas. We need written proposals, and the time is ticking. So stop speaking, but act if you want that we are able to discuss about different proposals. But we won't accept any agreement who goes against the single market or who will be against the Good Friday Agreement. We still have a part of Ireland and Northern Ireland on our table in the future, who will still sit in my European family, and that's Ireland. And the solidarity with Irish colleagues and with Leo Varadkar is strong, and we won't let him alone in this topic. Yes?
Hello. Mr. Prime Minister, Pierre for RTL Luxembourg here. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Well, did you fix any new dates to speak with the Northern Irish or with the Irish?
I have no mandate to negotiate. I was here to listen to Boris Johnson, and we have one negotiator, which is Michel Barnier, and Michel Barnier has the mission with the Commission to do the negotiations with the UK government. For the moment, we have one withdrawal agreement and nothing else. Yes?
Mr. Bettel,
So the meeting with Mr. Johnson was longer as planned. We exchanged about the different positions of the UK government. But I repeat, I told them, I hear a lot, but I don't read a lot. If they want that we are able to discuss about anything, we need it on written side. But for the moment, I just have one written deal. I repeat, this Brexit, it's not my choice. It's been a decision from a party, it was a decision from David Cameron to do it. They decide, I deeply regret it. But don't put the blame on us, because now they don't know how to get out of this situation they put themselves in. It's not my choice.
Stephanie Bedoni from Bloomberg. Based on your meeting today, will Brexit still happen on October 31st? And if so, will it be an orderly or a disorderly Brexit?
I asked also Mr. Johnson, that I read in the papers a few days ago, that it goes from big progress to Hulk to David Cameron proposing a second Brexit. And Mr. Cameron said, Mr. Johnson said that there won't be a second referendum, because I asked him, wouldn't that be a solution also to get out of this situation? There won't be a second referendum. And my wish would be to have a deal. A no deal is a lose-lose situation. We worked the last, not weeks, but years, to fix an agreement. And the decision is now in Westminster. But I even have no guarantee if Mr. Johnson is able to do an agreement where he thinks he could try to pass to Parliament, that he will get a majority in the House of Commons.
Mr. Bettel, you've said that you would not provide an extension again without a good reason. Over the course of the weekend, Mr. Stephen Barclay, who was in this office just a few moments ago, floated the idea of extending the transition period by 1 or 2 years by mutual consent. Would that be something you would be prepared to extend, given the desire on your part and Mr. Johnson's part for quote-unquote certainty?
The fact is, our citizens want to have a certainty. As long as they don't know what is going to happen, they don't know what will be their own future. So even we say it's for 1 year or more 2 years, and then this time will be needed to find new decisions. This is a nightmare. We should stop to think that people would love to have a longer period of transition. People would love to have clarity. They would love to know what is going to happen in London, what is going to happen in the EU, and what will be their position. Imagine you are a European citizen in London, and you don't know how your future looks like. Imagine you are UK citizens living in Europe. You don't know if tomorrow you will need special agreements, if you're able to stay in a country, if you can send your children to school. People want clarification, and as soon as possible. So to speak about new delays, just to postpone things, is not in the interest of our citizens.
Hello. Michelle Sinner for Radio 100.7. Yep. I was wondering, because the messages we receive are quite confusing. So Mr. Johnson keeps saying he's making good progress. You keep telling us, I have no written proposals on the table. Can you explain to us why you have no written proposals on the table, and what explanation has Mr. Johnson given you for not putting anything in writing on the table?
I'm neither the spokesman nor the writer of Mr. Johnson, so you have to ask him.
Do you believe him then?
For the moment, he told me that he understood my message, that it has to be not only ideas. It has to be clarification.
You said Brexiteers lied about Brexit in the past in Brussels.
No, I just remember that before Brexit, people said to some voters that they will get money back for social insurances, that the Brexit will be done in 24 hours and everything will be ruled. And there were a lot of things, I have to say, that before the referendum, no one was able to say, sorry, this is a lie. And that's also a pity of some people in the UK who were not strong enough to say, no, this is a lie, and you try to get votes with also lies. So that's the reason why I, since the beginning, said that a good campaign of information to explain to people what will be the risk, what will be the difficulties of a Brexit, would have been much more useful and then organizing a referendum than giving to people impressions, then let them vote, and then afterwards regret the result that they get.
You mentioned Parliament and him not having a majority. Did you actually ask him if he would remain within the law? He's indicated he wouldn't.
Yes, this wouldn't happen in Luxembourg.
Thank you.
Do you think that this potentially... Thank you, Darren, from Euronews. These negotiations have been described, apparently, in Downing Street by some as a sham. Do you think this is part of a blame game, that these negotiations aren't really taking place at all, and this is all theatre, so that ultimately Boris Johnson can blame the EU when it all falls apart at the end of October?
Now we speak about theatre. Yesterday, as I said, someone spoke about Hulk. I think it's too serious matter to speak about actors and about a script. The fact is, some people would love to give the blame to another and not being responsible for the situation. Again, one party, the Conservative Party, decided to organize that referendum first. A clear information campaign, from my point of view, was not organized in the UK, with all the risks of a referendum and of a Brexit. The third thing is, now people try to blame the others because we cannot find an agreement. We did not decide to organize that Brexit. It is an unilateral decision of the UK government. We have to accept the result. But it's not now on an unilateral way that the UK government will decide what will be the next relations with the EU. We sit around the table, we have a withdrawal agreement, and this withdrawal agreement has been accepted by the UK government. I just want to repeat and to remind that Theresa May accepted the withdrawal agreement. So don't make it like the European Union would be the bad guy not accepting decisions that the UK proposes. They accepted them, and it's not under my responsibility if they're not able to find a United Kingdom back in London and in the House of Commons and a majority. These are homemade problems, and we have now all to deal with that homemade problems who makes all ourselves in a more general problem. So I won't accept any time to be responsible as European leader, neither the Commission nor the 27 other countries, for, I'm sorry, the mess we are in for the moment. Thank you.